Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Wab Rum. You're back with another lesson, Lord willing, to be edifying. I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Waha, Rakakadash, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, a great millstone on top of this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 men of the Lord you see on the highways and byways, prophesying in the name and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Also in the correct doctrine. I want to send a shalom to the one-third men, women, and children that will escape the judgment of Bahashem, Yahweh Shai by their faith. Got a fair use, fair use. These videos I'm about to use for educational purposes only. None of these videos I will be profiting from. Now, Trump is at the G summit, and I think the G7, I'm sorry, the G7, and I think it's pretty much wrapping up, but he had a lot of criticism for the small hats.
Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
When you see that Israel and America are divided. Now, Trump, he pretty much came out and put him out there. Now, these nations are looking and listening to what he's saying. This is just not a easy thing for him to go out and say, man, because they know that they are behind the war that's going on pretty much all over the globe, man. And I'm speaking of the other nations. As you see, it says Israelis slam proposed U.S.-Iran peace pact as a bad deal. See, Trump is known for the deal, the great deal. Like he wrote a book on the deal, how to make a deal or something like that. But it says it fails to address security concerns. So they don't want the Israelis do not want America to make this deal because it's a bad deal, according to them, for on their behalf. Now, them making this deal, it shows defeat that Babylon was defeated by Iran. As you see, J.D. Vance confirms Iran will receive $300 billion to rebuild after war damages. Now, I'm going to let this interview play, and it goes to show you that they are giving up because they basically surrendering to defeat because this war was more than they could handle. And this is just Iran. So World War III, them going against China, Russia, and North Korea and all these other nations, they don't stand a chance, man. Now check this out.
The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, and that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapons.
So J.D. Vance just said a bunch of word salad because this was something they was already doing before the Trump ended the deal a couple years ago. So Iran was already abiding by that. The inspections come in, the inspectors coming in about their nuclear program. They also was not wanting to make nuclear bombs. So this shows you, man, they really didn't know what they was doing when they first came to fight Iran, man. Because now they pretty much giving them everything more than what they had, which a lot of the money is frozen assets. But it shows you that they gave up, man. And DT is pretty much ready to say victory and remove the troops from fighting. But they're not going to be able to because the Israelis are not going to abide by this deal that they made. Right here you see it says the U.S.-Iran war has officially ended after Iran agreed not to develop nuclear weapons, while the U.S. agreed to release 25 billion in frozen Iranian assets, which they wasn't trying to make the bomb anyway. They already got them, which a lot of insiders already pretty much been bringing that out, but they don't want them to develop them, which was never about them having nuclear weapons. That was just a ploy to get this war started. And now DJT see that he can't bully them and dominate them with military might. So he's ready to make a deal, man. Now check this out, because them making a deal, the Israelis are ready to release the Epstein files, man. The real deal Epstein's files.
Israel asked to see the draft U.S.-Iran deal, and they were told no. That's exactly what's coming out of Israel right now. Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel have no idea what this deal looks like. This is significant because Donald Trump told the world that Israel agreed to this peace deal. This is the most significant break from Donald Trump's administration and the Israeli government that has ever happened since he's been in power. And my colleague, Hunter Howell, just reported that Israel is preparing a new batch of Epstein files to be leaked out. Not even 48 hours after this deal was announced, it is now falling apart. It's almost like we have somebody with dementia negotiating a complicated geopolitical document. Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth didn't know what the fuck they were doing from the very beginning. Americans have been hurt, Americans have died, and you and your children are going to have to pay for this war that Congress didn't even get a vote on. You should be absolutely outraged. This is becoming the very meaning of a clusterfuck. Is a real turn in American-Israeli diplomacy happening? Will this deal survive? I'm going to be following these stories very closely, so if you want to follow these with me, drop a follow on TikTok, drop a follow on Instagram. Support my work with $5 a month on Instagram to subscribe, or with the Venmo in my bio. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
So they didn't know what they was doing in the beginning. And now they're going to have to suffer the consequences, which is no going back from what was already started, man. Now, the scriptures also tell you the least of the flock shall draw them out. So that's the reason why we know that this is not going anywhere. This is not going to be a peace deal, and it's pretty much everything is going back to normal. Now, DJT loves playing the bully, and he loves dominating someone under him when he knows they can't fight back or match him with power. See, those the small hats, they ready to continue to fulfill their agenda. They don't care who it is. But DJT can't brag like that when he come against nations that have equal or rival power. And this goes to show you that the least of the flock are going to draw all the nations out to fight, because they're not going to stop with this. And they're not going to let this peace deal go through. And the Lord warned us that this was the signs of the end of Esau's kingdom. Even though he was speaking to the Pharisees, he was speaking also of when a kingdom is divided, it's going to be destroyed, man. Let me read it. Let me stop. Let me read it. This is Matthew 12 and 25. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. If Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. And they are, and Benjamin always said, we are the little Satan, you the big Satan. That's what he said the Persians refer to them as. Now, if Satan is divided, right, he said right here, if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Now, the Lord was telling them through the Spirit, how we know and understand it now, when a kingdom is divided, it cannot stand, man. And this goes to show you that we're at the end of Esau's reign, man. Let me just continue to reiterate when a kingdom is divided, it's over with, man. This is Mark 3:24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Now this is a mighty kingdom, man. Babylon the Great. And this was the end of the toes in Daniel's vision of Nebuchadnezzar's vision that Daniel pretty much broke down for him. That he was seeing the extension of the Roman Empire and pretty much the toes in the feet, man, which is the extension of the Roman Empire, man. And through the Spirit, if you can receive it, DJT is Nero coming back, man. The apostles, pretty much brung that down, and it made sense. Broke that down, and it made sense to the T that this will be the extension of the Roman Empire, and it will the Lord will bring back one of the well-known Roman emperors, man, and that's DJT, man. This is Daniel's 2 and verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong. And this is Nebuchadnezzar's vision that he's seen. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things. And this shows you that Babylon the Great has a great military, man. That iron represents that military might to go and to dominate these nations. And they've been doing that for many, many years. It says, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes part of potter's clay and part iron, the kingdom shall be divided. And that goes to show you that this kingdom is divided because those small hatters are Romans too, man. They're Edomites as well, man. And they shows you that because they want to combine their military might, man. That's why you had that this last bill, I think it was 224, that they was combining the military might, which it was combining the military technologies together, which pretty much is their military might, man. And you have all these small hats that pretty much control the White House, man. Which DJT, they said he was the first small hat president. So this shows you that this mixture of the Lord, the Daniel broke down for Nebuchadnezzar. We're in that kingdom, man. We're in that fourth kingdom, and we just read it. If a kingdom be divided, it cannot stand. And DJT and Benjamin showing you that this kingdom cannot stand, man, because they're not on the same page. That they pretty much want to bring out these Epstein files to oust Nero. So it's gonna get sticky, man. It's gonna get sticky because DJT just went over to the I forgot exactly where it was at, but he went and said it on the world stage, man, that the Israelis destroy a whole building trying to get one person, man, when other people in there don't have anything to do with it. And he said that Syria was able to do the job better than the Israelis, man. So they're truly divided, as the scripture said. Verse 41 again, it says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, as for as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes and the feet were part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And that's plain, man. That's plain, man. This kingdom is partly strong and partly broken. Now, they have no power to fight against the Russians, man, or the Chinese, which they're extended too far. So the Lord set this place up for a great judgment, man. He stretches so far that they won't have the power to even defend themselves. And that's how we know that Babylon the Great will be utterly wasted, man. Verse 42, it says, as the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seeds of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So these kingdoms won't be combined, man. Which, like I said, that the Israelis and American army is supposed to be combining themselves. So it's not going to mix, man. These Babylonians, these American soldiers, that's why they was getting rid of all these Jake DAI military commanders and shit. They call them DEI. So they want diversity. That I forgot the initials, man. But anyway, they're not going to allow these Israelis pretty much go over and take over, man. And they're not going to say that on the news. They're not going to say they're always going to put it like it's run it like a well-oiled machine, man. These are different type of Edomites, man. Just as I said yesterday, the Edomites in here in Babylon the Great are different from the Edomites in the East. So what they're used to and the way they've been brung up, they're not going to think the same way as a small has, man. Verse 44, it says, and in the days of these kings shall power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And see, this kingdom is divided, man. And the Lord is setting up a kingdom that will never be divided or destroyed, man. See, the kingdom of heaven the Israelites will never be divided. We won't be divided anymore, man. We're going to be running like a well-oiled machine. We're going to be running smooth, man. But this right here, I want to bring out because this kingdom is divided. And this shows you that the Lord is setting up our kingdom because he's taking down this kingdom, Babylon the Great. We're seeing it in 4K, man. And it's beautiful, man. To be in this truth and understand, man, this is what it's all about, man. 44 again, it says, let me finish it up. And in the days of these kings shall a power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. So our kingdom is not going to be transferred to them. Their kingdom is being transferred out, man, and our kingdom is being set up. It says, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms. And this is the Lord coming down to take down all the kingdoms. The Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, all of them. Whoever you name. It says, and it shall stand forever. See, our kingdom is going to stand forever. And we know we're at the door of the Lord returning because this kingdom is divided, man. The fourth kingdom is divided, man. Which I think is it's the fifth kingdom, I'm sorry. But because it goes in from the fourth kingdom is the fifth kingdom is the feet and the toes, man. As a matter of fact, let me just bring up an image of that, man. I don't want to say it and get someone confused. Just bring it up. Daniel's statue. Like a Daniel vision, a statue vision. Let me see. Here we go, right here. There's 5 kingdoms, yeah. That's not a good image of it. Let me see. I want to see it. I want to get it of all of them. There's a good one right here. Switch. Hold on 1 second, Salakia. I just had to. That was a good. Yeah, it's the 4. Let me see. What was one I had? It's a good image. Yeah, the statue. The Babylon was a golden head. The the silver, Medo-Persia, the I think it's the thigh. Yeah, there you go. It says this on Instagram right here. It says the head of gold, the Babylonian Empire, chest of silver, Medo-Persia, and they got the dates on there for you. Belly of bronze, legs of iron, which is a Roman Empire. The feet of iron and brass, feet of iron and clay. Divided Europe, which is an extension of the Roman Empire. It's the same exact thing. It's an extension of it. And man, it's not a good one, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to. There you go. There's a better one. What I'm trying to. Ain't it either. It was one we always use, and it usually just pop up. I got it wrote down in my Bible just to clarify it, man. You had head of gold is Babylon, chest of silver, chest and arms of silver, Medo-Persia, belly and thighs of brass, Greek Empire, leg and thighs. I mean not leg and thighs. Leg of iron is the Roman Empire, and the feet and toes iron and clay, Rome, U.S. and Europe, which is also Babylon the Great. So that's also the first, the head as well, man. The Babylon the Great, man. So it goes to show you that this vision was for this day, man. The time we're living into now. The time we're living in now, man. Let me finish it up. Verse 45, it says, "For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron and it's like an iron and brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power have made known to the king that shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain." See, the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So this vision that Daniel seen was speaking about from the time of the Babylonian empire to the Babylon the Great Empire, the extension of Rome, man. So we're seeing that the Lord has set this place up from the beginning to be destroyed now, man. And this is this is it, man, without a shadow of a doubt, man. We in that time, man. This is Revelations 18 and verse 20. It says, "And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down." And this is what's going to break the toes, man. It's Yahweh Shah going to use thermonuclear missile to destroy this man's kingdom, man. It says, "And shall be found no more at all." This place is not going to It's not going to exist after the judgment of the Lord, man. It's not going to exist anymore. This is what Daniel seen. I should have went back and reiterated it, but this is what Daniel seen: the judgment coming on Babylon the Great. They took up a stone like a great millstone. This is Revelation 6 and verse 12. "And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. The sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together on and every mountain and island were moved out of their places." And it's showing you that symbolic that the stone hidden, that statue is also the stones, the judgment of the Lord bringing on Babylon the Great using thermonuclear missiles, man. This is how this great city of Babylon is going to be taken away and never exist again. Verse 15, it says, "And the kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men And every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens of the rock, in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us. And that's why they digging these buckets, man, because they digging themselves into the rocks, man, into the ground, man, the mountains, trying to hide themselves from the Lord. It said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. And see, that's the Lord using the great millstone, man, which is going to be these thermonuclear missiles, man. And he's going to set up his kingdom and take down the other kingdoms, and he's going to rule forever, man. He set it up to rule for us to rule forever, man. But Yahweh Shah on down, man, to rule forever. Hey, man. Verse 17, it says, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So the great day of the Lord is coming, man. And you're not going to be able to stand unless you're in this truth. Because 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed, and these heathen nations are going to be judged by the Lord, man. And that's why we break these lessons for our people to repent and see what we see. And this is all by the grace and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. So Lord, what is edifying? Shalom. Shalom.